And here at Summer Worship Nights, we wanted to take a minute and get into God's Word together. Is that okay with you? Yes. Okay, so I am going to Jeremiah 29:11. It reads like this. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Can somebody say that with me tonight? Hope and a future. That's right. So tonight, I want to show you how I've seen this play out in my own life, okay? This right here, this is my son Evans. He was born in West Africa in the country of Ghana. His birth mom passed away 3 days after he was born, and he was testing positive for HIV on the day I met him. Okay, then this right here, this is my daughter Yodine. We call her Yo-Yo, and she was born in Ethiopia. She was abandoned on the day that she was born, found in a plastic bag on a sidewalk, and testing positive for HIV. But friends, I'm here tonight to celebrate with you that both of my kids, they're home now. They're 11 and 12 years old, and both of my kids are testing negative for HIV. Jesus gave them hope and a future. So that's why, literally a couple of weeks before this tour started, I traveled all the way back to Ethiopia. I wanted to find the exact location where my daughter was abandoned. I went to that spot, I wrote her a letter, and then I recorded myself reading her that letter. I explained to her that this spot where I was standing was once marked for darkness and death and abandonment, but because of God's love for her, this could be a place of hope. I got to unpack even more of her story. I told her about the teenage girl named Tigist that was walking down the streets of Ethiopia on the morning she was born and heard a noise coming out of a plastic bag, and she decided to stop, get down on the ground, open up the bag, and pull out a beautiful girl that I now call my daughter. So when I asked Yo-Yo for her permission to share a little bit of her story with you tonight from stage, before she answered yes or no, she actually asked me a question. She said, will it help other girls just like me? Well, her and I recently heard about a whole community of broken families all the way in Cambodia. And that's how I got to meet Sophia.
I'm so sorry these things happened to you. Yeah.
Now, Sophia, she's 11 years old and also an orphan being raised by her grandmother. That's because many years ago, her dad left the family, leaving her mom to care for all of her siblings. Well, this one day, her mom was promised this employment opportunity in a nearby country, so she left to pursue a better life for her kids, but the problem was, she never came back. Sophia, she now lives in this one-room house. She has 3 pairs of clothes and 1 pair of shoes. And she lived in such a remote location that we had to take this ferry right here across the river just to be able to access where she lived. Now, I got to spend a lot of time with her grandmother, and she said some of the most interesting things to me. I wrote them down. She said, I live one day at a time, and I can't even think of another day in the future and what it will be. I do not have any future hope. I am hopeless. The world is so dark for me. Well, then she said something that I'll never forget because it had to do with Sophia. She said, Jeremy, I have nothing for the next generation. Things, they seem impossible for me. So as soon as I heard that, I knew that my daughter and I wanted to be a part of Sophia's story somehow, and we decided to sponsor her. And while I was there in Cambodia, I actually had the opportunity to sit down and share my faith with her. Check this out.
If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, then you can say to this mountain, move over there. Isn't that crazy? And then, okay, this is my favorite part. Then he says, even when life feels like it's so hard and so heavy, God is there with us and will help us through it.
Now, to help with the household income, Sophia, she would pick these water lilies right here and sell charcoal. And even in the midst of her difficult situation, she still had this hilarious personality, and she always found a way to make me laugh. So this one day as we're hanging out together, I asked her if she would draw me a picture. Well, she starts to draw me a picture of a house. And I said, Sophia, that's amazing, but whose house is that, by the way? Well, that's when she told me that she believed if she worked hard enough to build a big enough house, well then, maybe then, that's when her parents would come back. Unfortunately, though, poverty is such a major contributor to slave labor that forces parents to make this difficult decision to pursue a better life for their kids, only to be sold into human trafficking and never return. But thankfully, while I was there, World Vision had just started registering children for sponsorship to help break this cycle of poverty that has existed for generations. Poverty that rips families apart, just like Sophia's. But thankfully, while I was there, I caught a glimmer of hope. Because the very next day, we went to a different community. And this was a place where World Vision had actually been working for a number of years because a bunch of the kids there had been sponsored. And well, something miraculous started to happen. The families, they started growing their own food and providing for themselves. The kids, they started going to school every day. And then the parents, they made the decision that no matter how hard life got, they wouldn't abandon their children and they would stay together as a family. Well, since I was already there, I knew I wanted to meet one of these special girls that had been sponsored, and that's how I got to meet Vanette. Vanette was sponsored at the age of 10 years old, which interestingly is the same age that many girls are married off in Cambodia. Thankfully though, this lady named Min Mercer in California, she decided that she could give up $1 and a couple pennies a day to make sure that Vanette knew the importance of staying in school and staying with her family. But you see, Vanette, she had huge dreams for her life, but they often felt impossible. Now, you see this dirt road that she's walking right here?